So, Canadian healthcare, eh? This is a subject that's pretty complicated for me. The first and most important point, for me anyways, is my firstborn son has needed specialized medical care his entire life, so far, pretty much. And thanks to living in Canada, and I'm saying that without a lot of experience with the American medical system, mind you, he has received and is still receiving that care almost completely free of charge. And it's one of the things I'm absolutely gracious for actually living in Canada and having their medical system for. And I can't say more than that because there's not enough words to express the amount of gratitude I have for that. Um, Now this is where it gets kind of different. My experience personally has shown me a different side of it because to me the Canadian medical system, well, to everyone as far as I know, the Canadian medical system is very dependent on how much you make and whether or not wherever you're making your money gives you coverage um, through a different means other than what's called MSP, which is our medical service program in Canada. Now, if you have medical coverage, usually a portion of that comes off of your paycheck to pay for not the MSP, whatever you have. But if you don't have full medical coverage or partial even medical coverage through that, what happens is a portion of your paycheck, it's dependent on how much you make, is taken off of your paycheck and goes towards, like I said, the medical service plan or MSP. And what the MSP does is it's what gives us our supposed free healthcare. It it's very very basic though. You can go into any hospital, you can get any treatment you need. That is not a problem. But anything anything else more fancy, unless you're hospitalized or done in a hospital, it's everything that's in a hospital is paid for. Anything that is not covered by MSP, which is part of the reason why I couldn't go to just a dentist and ask them to give me a hand. That's not something that's covered by MSP. Um, it's one of those things that's weird, but I have quite a different experience even with MSP. My financial situation right now is not good. I have gone through different financial situations over the years, and my financial health on financially health wise, I am deceased at the moment. That's nothing, and I I wouldn't say nothing, but I would say I have a tiny bit more money than I do hope. And I completely self-identify as being completely hopeless. So I'll let you um, extrapolate what you want from that. Um, Now, a few years back, I was paying enough that I was making enough that I was paying into MSP, and that was fine. I did my taxes year by year, and that was fine as well. The thing was, is when I started making less money, even though I was still doing my taxes and telling the government that I was making less, they continued to try and charge me for the same amount for my MSP. And that's not the way it's supposed to work here. And the government should be able to see that when I do my taxes each year. Except the past 3 years, it hasn't seemed to have made much difference to them. Right now, it's not something I'm proud to admit, but I'm not making enough money to pay anything for MSP. My MSP should be completely covered. And the ornately jeweled pile of crap is that the government is still continuing to try and charge me. So they're trying to say that I owe them money right now. Um, Now, as far as I know, and I haven't really put this to the test, is if I went into the hospital, they wouldn't turn me away. I've heard stories and stuff like that about in the US, how if you do not have coverage, this is actually, mind you, let me specify here. These stories were before the Affordable Health Care Act was put in place. So I'm not sure if this is different now in the US. But in Canada, You do not get turned away from any hospitals. You are given any medical care you need because you're a human, basically. So there is that. But they will try and charge you later unless you're a part of MSP. Now, the charges that I've racked up happen to be just back MSP charges because they think I'm still making enough money. Even though the past 3 years I've done my taxes literally is like here's shoving this paper in their face. I make enough that I shouldn't pay. And they just continue to charge me. And now Canada's also weird for owing money because it's not quite the US where they come after you and shove you in a debtor's prison. So I guess that's something. But yeah, so it's very interesting. I'm not even sure, but everywhere thinks that Canada has free healthcare, and it's not quite the case. I still advocate completely for the kind of healthcare we have here over for what let's like I said, I'm not sure what the ACA covers versus what um, the medical system in the U.S. used to be. Let's put it that way, but it's definitely I would take Canada's medical system over the way the U.S. used to be, especially considering my son, who wasn't actually sure if I was going to talk about this, but my son has something called SMA. Um, he might actually watch this at some point, so I'm not sure what else I want to say. I don't want to embarrass the poor kid. Um, his name is actually, let's not speak his name because I haven't even given my name out to anyone, so there's that. But he is on a level that's beyond amazing. And I am so, like I said earlier, I do feel, for the sake of my son, I feel blessed at least that much. And for me to say I feel blessed in anything in my life is a big deal. Really, really big deal. Like, you've no idea. I don't say that lightly at all. Um, but yeah, I kind I feel like I've ranted more than I meant to. Um, I had actually stuff written down to write, to, ooh, that was smooth, written down to read to the camera that I'm talking to at the moment. And guess what? I went completely off script and completely off. Let's see. Some of my jokes that were actually really good were, let's see. Hmm. See, now that I'm looking at them now, none of them seem good. This is a part of the hating myself. A symptom. Uh, I am a little nervous too because I actually had, let me say, a friend request me to talk about this. So there's that, and I'm doing this as a direct, because they asked, and they gave me compliments, and I don't normally know how to take those too well. I usually kind of just shrug them off and say, wait until they get to know me. They'll know different. So, there's that. Anyways, I now have 5 subscribers, and that's absolutely bloody terrifying to me. Um, not sure what else to say. Let's see. What can I say? Now, a little personal blurb about myself. I am half Scottish and half Greek, and therefore completely messed up in every possible facet of the term. So, but I was told I should try and speak in a Scottish accent if I was going to do it, and I kind of do that. I don't. If any of my Scottish family was to see me screwing up a Scottish accent as badly as I would, um, they would fly from Scotland to Canada to literally backhand me across the face, and I would accept this the oh, I would just accept it because I would feel I deserved it basically. Um, I've been told by people in my lifetime that they thought they heard a Scottish accent on me, which isn't the most shocking thing in the world. As my mom is where I get my Scottish accent from, and she is a landed immigrant to Canada, so does still speak with a Scottish. If I could speak English, that'd be great. Still speak with a Scottish accent, which I admit I don't hear anymore. When I was younger and I was in high school and I had friends over, if my mom was there, she would say something to them, and they would go, "Yeah." Mm-hmm. Then they would turn to me later and go, "What did she say?" And I would translate literally. On the other hand, I still have family in Scotland who I have on Facebook, and they're, it's when I hear them talk, it takes me a moment sometimes more than others. Other times I have no issues understanding what they're saying. Other times it takes me a moment to get it. But I have one cousin who types his posts, I kid you not, in phonetic Scottish. That takes a bit to I literally have to speak the words aloud that he's typed to understand that. But there is that, I guess. And actually the few times that I've actually been asked if I was from Scotland, which has happened. And it was before I had this terribly done beard cut that I have going on right now. Um, it was after I had actually come back from vacation, from visiting family in Scotland with my mother at the time, and I it made me think about what I was saying a little bit more before I said it at the point, because at that point it terrified me, but looking back on it, I'm like, I wish I could grasp. I wish I honestly have just kept talking that way because I think it would have been cool. Anyways, this video, I guess, would be kind of dedicated, I guess, to my new subscriber, but I talked about my son as well, so I'll dedicate it to him as well. Um, my daughter's birthday is coming up in 6 days, and I am terrified of her getting older. She's going to be a teenager soon, and that scares the absolute, complete living crap out of me. So, yeah, wish me luck there, I guess. Anyways, I'm going to cut this video now. Again, thank you to my newest subscriber for, I guess, requesting me to talk about this. I hope I did a decent job. I know I'm not going to rant there at the end, but that's pretty much what I do here. And to anyone to anyone and everyone that watches this, I appreciate you watching. Cheers.